Did you know? I've always had a wish list for Gaijin for certain vehicles to be introduced into the game, some small features, graphical changes such as ray tracing, and even some other things that wouldn't be insanely popular, such as minimum engagement distance for ATGMs, and dare I say, fuel for tanks, but I'm pretty glad that's likely never gonna happen. But I'm going to make things relatively simple today and show you my wish list for vehicles I would love to see in the game. Oh, and one more thing before we go ahead and get started, a small disclaimer. I am not a huge historical buff, unlike many other creators here in War Thunder. I did my best to look into these vehicles simply because, well, they not only look cool, but I wanted to get the most accurate information I could, which does stem from, of course, Wiki, which is, I mean, if you go to school, they always tell you it's not a credible source. So bear in mind here that I am likely going to mess up some things. Cool, awesome. I'm a War Thunder player, which means that I don't know everything. Gaijin surprises me a lot of the time with vehicles that I had no idea existed and features that, again, I didn't even know was real. Cool. So with that being said, let's begin. And so what better way to start off this list than by talking about one of my personal favorites I'd love to see in this game, the Ukrainian T-84 Oplot-M. This is essentially a highly modified T-80UD with a welded turret, and there's also a 120mm variant that can utilize standard NATO munitions. And oddly enough, it even had blowout panels, alongside a modified 1200 horsepower engine, although I don't think that would be the part coming into the game because that would kind of hinder its mobility just a little bit compared to, say, the T-80U that we currently have in the game right now. And it can also fire relatively modern Russian munition, but when it comes to the details about that, it's very scarce and I couldn't find much about this. But what is known, at a bare minimum, it can fire the standard 3BM42 Mango round, which is very common in War Thunder right now. And it also has more modernized electronic countermeasure systems, as well as the Stora APS, much like the one we have right now in the game with the T90A. Although given the current political situation happening right now over in Europe, I don't really believe that's going to be happening anytime soon. So this one can kind of be left on the back burner for a little while. And up next, we have the American Tank Test Bed, which is essentially an M1 Abrams with the crewless turrets. Now think of it like this. Take the AGS as it currently stands right now. Give it the chassis of the M1 Abrams and the gun also on the M1A1 Abrams, the M256 120mm, and make it fire every 5 seconds, either M829 or M829A1. That's 12 rounds per minute on an auto-loading mechanism. That's pretty nuts. Although, just for simplicity's sake, I don't think Gaijin would give it M829A1. They would likely just give it M829 and keep that either as an event vehicle or premium, because I highly doubt we would ever see this as a tech tray vehicle, unfortunately. But I'll tell you what, the AGS is nuts already. Imagine that. Oof, that'd be a lot of fun. And up next is a classic helicopter that is, oddly enough, going to likely be revitalized in the coming years, the RAH-66 Comanche. Now, if you ever play Command & Conquer General 0 Hour and you play USA, it's the stealth helicopter you can find with, well, pretty much every single US faction. Now, this is essentially a quote-unquote stealth helicopter. It can have up to 6 Hellfires or a mix of Hydras. But here's the cool thing about this, right? You know the Z10 or the Z19 with its 8 or 16 TY90s? Well, this one can carry up to 12 Stinger air-to-air missiles. 12. Now, granted, Stinger missiles in War Thunder are kind of garbage. They really suck. Unfortunately, they're a lot better than what they used to be, but they're still nowhere near as good as, say, again, the TY90s or the R60Ms found on the Mi-24s. But still, America getting a helicopter with 12 Stinger missiles, that would kind of level the playing field just a little bit, in my opinion. And for the last one, now this one is going to be good. The American Humvee RCT Armored Fastback. This is the only one I can really find that has, well, this system. It is essentially a tow launcher on a Humvee. It would likely be able to fire every single tow missile we have in the game, from the TOWs, the TOW 2s, the TOW 2As, and the TOW 2Bs. Although right now, ATGMs of War Thunder aren't exactly at their best. I mean, at all. They're kind of very difficult to use, unfortunately, at least as part of this update. Although having another highly mobile Humvee, which, you know, is almost the same one found as, say, the Type 93, I don't think it would be equally as fast. Although, imagine if it was nearly as fast with the tow launcher system. It would be a lot of fun, and I think would be the first one in the game to feature such a system, and it's something that I can very much see coming in the very near future. But who knows? Gaijin may just surprise us. Oh, and there are like, what, 17 different versions of this vehicle featuring javelins, 50 cals, I think there's one with the recoilless 90mm on it too. I think I saw that. If I have it right here as part of the edits, I'll try to show it. If I can't find it, I'm sorry, but just know that I remember seeing one, and that would also be a good one too. But then again, what can't you do with this vehicle? And there you have it. That was my relatively short list of vehicles I would like to see in the near future. Now, of course, the Oplot is one that's going to be, well, kind of difficult to introduce in the game currently. The tank test bed, oh yes, I can see that happening. Maybe not anytime soon, but given how Gaijin has been acting as of late, who knows, they might just add it at some point. The Comanche is another one that might come in very soon. Who knows? They've kind of teased about it in the past. And then we also have the Humvee, which I can definitely see coming probably before the year's even out. And as for the rest of the vehicles I would love to see in War Thunder, it really comes down to more features than anything else, such as the Puma receiving its spike missile, maybe getting more variants of the BTR, which I'm very certain will be coming very soon, and even some more striker variants with javelins, maybe an SPA variant, and so on and so forth. Actually, I think the LED is that, but there might be another one. I'll have to look more into that myself, but when it comes to more stuff, that's honestly really it. But who knows, maybe a lot of these vehicles will be coming very soon into War Thunder. But I am curious, what do you want to see in the game? Feel free to hit up that comment section down below. If you also liked the video, of course, like it up. If you didn't like it, you know, downvote it, and that'll kind of, you know, show me what to do next time I want to make these types of videos. Also, if you want to see where I got all this information, I will have it linked down below in the description. Each and every single one that, well, you guys are curious about on my information. Now, please keep in mind, some of you guys disagree with this stuff. It was the best I could find in my current, well, situation. But again, thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this. If you guys want to support me as a creator, I do have a couple of ways of doing that. My 3% discount is a solid way of doing it, as well as my Patreon, which gets you some behind-the-scene access to some of my upcoming videos, some personal things, and so on and so forth. It's a great way to support something like $5, which is not terrible. And that's honestly really it. But guys, thank you again so much for watching this video, for liking it, for subscribing, and just being super awesome. No, for real. This is great. And I will see you not only in the next video or even the streams, but most certainly in War Thunder itself. So as always, we'll see you next time, and have a great rest of your weekend.